everyone. Thank you for joining. This is Ed, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Media Buff Guys, the podcast about anything and everything media related. I'm your host, Ed, and with me are Matt and Omar. Say hello, fellas.
What? Why?
Say hello.
Where am I?
My God.
Hello,
Uh,
how are you doing?
there we go.
Every time!
Joining joining us tonight is our good friend Caesar. Caesar, say hello.
Hola, muchachos.
There you go. This is actually going to be our first episode we record on Discord, so I apologize for the audio quality. We're all using our, you know, specific items we can record on Discord. Caesar's actually joining us all the way from Ohio.
Gozaimasu.
There you go. What time is it
Ohio's
over
for
there, right?
lovers.
What time is it over there, Caesar?
It is 11:30 right now.
Oh, damn. Okay, we got to make this one pretty good because we are depriving him, obviously, if he does have work in the morning.
Sleep is
So-
for the week.
There you go. I know we've had a bit of a hiatus. Life kind of got in the way of a lot of craps, but we'll try to bring you more episodes every other week, every Sunday. If you want to talk to us on Discord, we are on Discord now. Matt did make a Discord page for us. It is called the Media Buff Guy, so you can send us messages there, and we'll try to respond as quickly as we can. You know, episode ideas or just comments. They're always appreciated. So for
And
today's
also,
is that Matt?
I was going to say it's also a good way to continue conversations from previous episodes.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, if you want to talk to us about a previous episode or make a comment or just something you want to chime in, let us definitely know. We'll answer in as fast as we can. So for this episode, we're gonna go ahead and do a review for the game Armored Core 6, which released, what was it, on the 25th of last month?
Yeah, about August 25th.
August 25th, yeah. Came
Oh,
out
shit.
on PlayStation.
Exactly 1 month ago.
It's been out for a month. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, look at that. That's actually pretty cool timing. Came out August 25th. It's another From Software game. One originally made by them, if for those who didn't know. Came out on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, right, Caesar?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about that for a little bit. We're gonna just talk what we like, what we didn't like, some changes we would like, and then basically just some stuff we kind of want to gush over and maybe see down the line as it gets added. As I previously mentioned, is a From Software game, so it's one of those. Omar, what would you call it? Would you call it a Souls-like game, which a lot of old Armored Core heads were talking about?
God, no. This is nowhere near a Souls game.
I mean, if you've been following the media around this game, a lot of old school Armored Core players were kind of comparing it to a Souls title because From Software does also make the Souls games, including Elden Ring, right, Matt?
Yes. Well, Elden Ring is part of the Soulsborne, that is part of the Soulsborne
Genre.
games because yeah, the genre, because Elden Ring's actually the prequel to Bloodborne and the Dark Souls games. Like
That's
depending
it.
on which, yeah, like if you did, like,
Depending on which
depending
fanfic you
path
read.
you used, yeah, and also like which path you choose in the game, it's what starts the events in the other games. Now,
Okay.
like the whole thing, and like
It's fine,
like,
man. It's fine.
it-
We can talk
I
about
was
it in
gonna say,
another episode.
now, what I'm getting at is
Already
please stop
derailed.
being rude.
Yeah, because we're deviating.
But
Let's
anyways,
get back on.
no, I'm not deviating. Let me finish my thought, bastards. Anyways, what I was going to say is I agree with Omar, and whoever's saying that it's a Souls-like game, you are completely wrong because it is nothing like a Souls game. It's an Armored Core game.
Okay. Well, just a quick, brief synopsis about the game. You play Pilot 621. We don't really know the name of the person. He is basically tasked by a man named Walter to do a bunch of missions for these different factions fighting over the planet Rubicon after a cataclysm basically left the planet in shambles for the hunt for coral. It's a substance that is used there. I guess it can be used as almost anything: fuel, electronic components. I guess some kind of matter restorative crap. And basically, you're just working for this guy and these other factions. And the game has like what, 3 endings, Caesar?
Yep, 3 endings. You're kind of just, but you play mostly kind of like a mercenary for hire, so you don't really
Exactly. Yeah.
pledge an allegiance to any one faction or group. You just kind of
Exactly.
go with whoever
Pledge
pays the most
allegiance.
to the flag.
Yeah, you pledge allegiance to the money.
There you go. There you go. With that
Work
being said,
hard
this is
for
gonna
the
be
money.
yeah. With that being said, this is gonna be your first spoiler alert. We are gonna talk heavy about the story and just certain things about the game. And again, if you haven't played it, definitely check it out. At the end, we'll probably just talk about a bunch of other stuff that we want to see in the future of this title or future titles to come. So, with that being said, Caesar, I really want to hear from you. I know you loved this game. Caesar was actually the first one in our group to beat the game. I still haven't beaten it. Neither has Omar or Matt. Um, our friend Jaren's also been playing, but he was actually the second one to also beat it. But Caesar, not only did he beat it, you already had like what, 2, 3 playthroughs through it, Caesar?
Yeah, I've already done all. I've done all 3 playthroughs.
Oh, to get the endings, the different
Yeah, to get all
endings.
3 endings. Yeah.
Jesus Christ! And I might I note he did this with a broken hand. He plays on PC and he had a broken hand, the one he uses for his mouse, and he was playing with that while on a cast. So my hats off to you on that, Caesar.
Yeah, I had to tape the mouse to my hand to my cast. So
Dude, you
mobility
were
was
still
right
able
there.
to. Dude, you were still able to kick some ass. Like you even like showed us some videos and he was like just wrecking some of these bosses with ease.
I refuse
It's
to be
like a
filtered.
wrecking ball.
Yeah, Caesar was also the one to get the collector's edition. What was it? How
Oh,
much
the
was it, Caesar?
premium
Like five?
edition, five
Yeah, it's
hundred
like 500
dollars
bucks.
comes with a
I'm gonna.
hanger and a statue.
Yeah, he made a YouTube video about it. I'm gonna actually include that in the description below. Please check it out. It's really cool. What like he does? It's sweet and short. He just shows off the statue and the hanger. But it's really cool. I don't think those are available anymore. But I mean, I'm super jelly that you were able to get that, Caesar.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're actually gonna paint it, right?
I'm gonna paint it. I think I might like try making a mold of some parts. What I really want to do, and I saw like a video on YouTube. Someone went ahead and added polycap joints to the statue and made it an action figure.
Ooh,
So
So
it
nice.
can move.
yeah, so you can pose it. So
Oh
I
no
think I'm gonna
way.
do that because I do really like the initial mech design for Armored Core 6, the beginning suit. It's a very unique looking design compared to like a lot of the other builds that you'll eventually encounter in the game. They're
You
more
know,
kind of the same
now that
looking.
you brought that up, that's the thing. Like, why is the beginning suit a lot more aesthetic than the other ones?
I mean, we can get that in a minute. But Caesar, why don't you start off by just telling us like some of the things you really liked about the game?
Well, let's see. So I do like now. I do like the movement. So in previous Armored Core titles, movement was very what was clunky for the sake of being clunky. Some of you may remember the whole turning speed thing in previous titles where you couldn't just instantly turn around and move your camera to go and see around you. You had to wait for your AC or your armored core to turn around in order to see what was around you. So it was very difficult to kind of like get a bearing on your surroundings. And when it came to like PvP and stuff, if
Jesus
someone was
Christ.
if someone was faster, you could they'd be running circles around you and you couldn't really see them. But
Right.
in this iteration of Armored Core, the movement is a lot more simplified, and doesn't feel as clunky. It does feel more like the kind of the movement scheme for a lot of the Souls game, which is why I think there was a lot of talk that
Comparison.
it was a Souls game, just because the movement was pretty much the same. But I do like that it's a lot simpler to move and stuff like that. It makes the game a little bit more accessible for players and kind of like updates the genre a little bit for the newer audience. Uh, Graphics, I mean, with every Armored Core in during its generation, the graphics are always phenomenal. I really like the nitty gritty kind of aesthetic that goes on with this particular title. Um, and as always, the emblems are super fun to deal with. There's
Yeah,
quite a lot of
Caesar
creative
was
people.
pretty good at. Yeah, Caesar was pretty good at making them. He made some custom ones that look really cool.
But the weapons feel pretty good. I really like that they kept melee weapons, and I really like the changes they made with the animations for the melee weapons, making them so that it wasn't just a stab or a slash and turning them into like their own animations for melee attacks. I think that was one of the biggest things that drew me to this game and keep me with it is just the animations for melee. It just looks so good.
Yeah, I think one thing a lot of people liked was that they also included the Moon Veil blade in this game.
Moonlight, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Moonlight's
just
been a staple of every Armored Core game. It's been a staple for every From Software game. I think I've not played
yeah,
any other Souls like except for Elden Ring, but even Elden Ring had the Moonlight. So I think there
yeah.
was a
A
Moonlight
lot of
in
fans.
The Moonlight Greatsword.
Yeah, a
yes,
lot of fans have said that is like a staple weapon in every FromSoft game that they've made.
yeah. And then for Armored Core specifically, there's the Kurosawa. Although I don't like the design of the Kurosawa in this game, when I got the Kurosawa in Armored Core 6, I didn't realize I got the Kurosawa because it just it doesn't look like how it's always looked. So I'm a little
Is that
disappointed at
another?
that.
Is that another common weapon in the Armored Core
Yeah,
franchise?
every Armored Core has had a version of the Kurosawa. It's kind of like the iconic energy weapon or energy
Oh,
rifle.
okay. Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the Moonlight and the
the Moonlight
Kurosawa.
the Moonlight was
Nice.
always the blade that I rocked in all of my Armored Core games.
Oh, okay. Why don't you?
Well,
Why don't you?
shit, even the Moonlight swords in Bloodborne.
Right.
Yep.
Why don't you tell us what you liked about the game, Omar? I know you're a huge fan of the Armored Core franchise, right?
Yeah, but I've only started when in the PS2 era though, because
Rookie.
when I first got my PS, yeah, whatever. One of the first games I bought with my PS2 was Armored Core 3, and I just spent hours in the fucking garage just customizing my AC, coloring it, making multiple builds, which is fucking amazing. For this one, I do like how streamlined the controls are in comparison to other Armored Cores, especially the PS1 and PS2 eras, because they didn't really utilize the analog sticks very well.
Mhm.
Plus, we had to freaking turn in order to strafe, and like how Caesar was saying, turning was such a bitch back in the day that you had to have an option part for your shoulders just to be able to turn instantaneously.
Oh, I
No
remember
way,
that.
really?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fucking annoying. Now, actually, they do still have something similar in this Armored Core game, but it's a one of
OS
the OS.
tuning.
Yes.
Yeah, it's an OS's tuning chip, which it lets you do a 180.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
But with this game, yeah, just like how Caesar was saying, the graphics are always on point per generation of the game. And one of the big things that I like about the Armored Core game series in general is that their opening movies, opening cinematics are always just so gorgeous for the time. They're super realistic from like the PS2 era up to now. But
Oh
gameplay
yeah.
wise, oh, where do I begin? First of all,
Right.
it's not as fast as Armored Core 4 and 4 Answer, which are my favorite iterations of the games, but it's not super clunky like as in the most recent one, Armored Core 5 and Verdict Day. Whereas Verdict Day, they were all chunky little freaking scrap bots rather than
Ugh.
actual. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, the ACs in 5 and Verdict Day were not the best designed. They were just stumpy looking and just retarded looking, honestly. But this one, oof, I haven't gotten far yet in the game, but I am expecting to have a lot more designs coming up.
Oh yeah, I bet you're having fun with that. I know, I know,
Yeah.
I know. Jerbear was he really got sucked into the garage, and once I'm done with the title, once I'm done with my first playthrough, I know I'm gonna spend a lot of time in there.
Same.
You got to do the
Matt,
3 playthroughs in order to get all the
yeah.
parts first, because
Ah, okay.
coral
Yeah.
weapons are amazing, and
Oh
there's
yeah, so
the
I've
coral
heard.
weapons are super anime.
I've heard,
Of
yeah.
course they are.
All right, Matt, what do you got to say about the game?
Well, I'm not
Oh, thank
as
you, Matt, and let's
acquainted.
move on.
Wow, Caesar. Anyways, I'm not as acquainted with Armored Core as Omar and Caesar are, but huge from a soft fan. And one thing I could say I really like about this in comparison to other FromSoft games is that um, they added another battle tactic, and that's three-dimensional fighting. Because most of the time when you're playing a FromSoft game, whether it's a Bloodborne or Elden Ring, where what they have you, you're on a 2D plane. You know, you run up to an enemy and then you hit them. And this one, you could jump, jet around, use aerial tactics to help with you overcome your situations. And so I thought that's always pretty cool. And also, unlike other mech games that have come out recently, this one just feels complete.
I know
Like
what you mean.
it's a complete product. Like
I know
it
what you mean.
works.
Yeah.
It, the melee actually melees, and you can hit your targets. Uh, when it's not like Battle Operations 2
Gundam Evo.
or Gundam Evo,
May it
where
rest in
like
peace.
R.I.P.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
and then like when you actually dash forward and we do the dashing, it actually works. So that's always nice to see.
I mean, that could also be a latency issue, being that Armored Core 6 is a single player game rather than a primarily multiplayer game, such like Gundam Evo and stuff like that. So that might
True.
also
Right,
play
but
a point in that.
it might. Uh, and also, like going back, like everyone keeps talking about the garage and doing all the. I spend a lot of time there already, as it is on my first playthrough, and the whole reason being is because unlike the traditional like from soft games, Armor Core, because I can play. Let's use Bloodborne for example. I could go in Bloodborne. I know exactly what materials I need to get through the game fairly easy. They don't really offer that in Armor Core. Like you are constantly playing around and tinkering with your machine, so that way you can get the best results. And if you try something new, you go and you try it. If you fail, you just go back to the garage, swap out some parts, and you go on your way again. You don't really get that with 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 other FromSoft titles because it's kind of limited. Yeah, there's different type of builds you can go for, but you are limited to that build
Mhm.
with those games. And Armor Core, you're not limited. You could have a heavy melee build and then slap some rockets on you and you go for it.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong way to tackle a level with this game.
It's more than
Yeah.
one way to eat a Reese's.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. For me, this was my first Armored Core title I ever played. I have tried a couple of the ones, mostly the ones Omar had, because whenever we went to his place, he was either talking about it or wanted us to play it, so we tried it. And I don't know why, for some reason, they never really grabbed my attention. But this one, like the moment I saw the announcement and the trailer, and then some of the gameplay, I mean, it's like, oh, I'm getting this day one, and I'm definitely gonna. I know I'm gonna enjoy it, and it is very enjoyable. I still haven't beaten it, but I can't wait to. do my first playthrough and then play through it a couple more times just to get those endings and the extra parts. It's definitely one of those games that it looks good, it plays good, and even if you're not good at it, you'll still have fun because just like Matt had said, and you guys had said, figuring out different ways to tackle enemies, figuring out different ways to beat bosses. It's always pretty fun, especially when you get that boss that you've just been struggling with. And you just find that perfect build and are just able to take his ass out and move on to the next chapter. That's definitely satisfying.
Yeah, it's not like where how some of the older players are saying it's too easy, but it's a game that as long as you go in with the mindset of being adaptable, you're gonna have a lot of fun. You'll enjoy it. There'll be different ways, like we said, there'll be different ways to do any one thing. So as long as you're keeping your mind open and willing to learn how to play the game, it's gonna be an enjoyable one.
Oh yeah,
I
for
agree
sure.
with that very much so.
And
Like because like with everyone complaining that it's too easy, it's not that easy. But also
Yes, it is.
it's not super hard in comparison to like Demon Souls. Okay? Like you could actually sit down and get through this one if you actually apply yourself and learn a little bit and
without
adapt
breaking the controller.
without breaking the controller. And
right.
like which I don't get like here's a good example. What's that boss's name again with all the missiles?
Alteas.
Balteus.
Alteas.
Balteus. Balteus was probably the most difficult boss I've come across so far in Armor Core 6.
That
That's just
bit.
Armor Core 6. And it only took me 5 to 6 tries to beat him. I've come across other bosses and other FromSoft titles, and it's taken me a lot more tries.
Uh, Anything else you guys want to add that you really liked about the game? Caesar, Omar.
Uh, Before I do, well, yeah. Going back to what Caesar was saying about the animations for the melee weapons, because I am a melee enthusiast. I gotta have my swords. I gotta have my bladed weapons.
Hmm.
Those animations are freaking gorgeous, and they just look so epic. And like how Caesar was saying, very anime.
Very.
Hmm.
I
You
just
know,
can't wait for the
go,
model kits to come out.
going off what you
Oh
had,
yeah.
going off of what had you had said, Omar, about the melee weapons. One thing I really like about them, and this is mostly for the energy weapons. I don't know if you've noticed, but they make this interesting sound when you just rip through the enemy, like you're tearing through them. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it just sounds so cool when you just
The
get
sound
that.
design is pretty good.
Right? Does that sound effect, especially when the enemy is staggered and you hit them right with a charged blade attack, it makes them kind of like screeching, tearing sound, like you're literally cutting through the enemy. It sounds so satisfying.
Uh, well, I wouldn't know because I ditched my melee stuff and I'm just guns and
Uh,
rockets.
Honestly, this game turned me into a bit of a melee player. I usually do guns and rockets too, but ever since I learned how to kind of use this one weapon called the pile bunker, I just like shoving that thing off of enemies' asses. It was very satisfying.
I
It
Like
was
I
all
usually
consensual, though. You know,
exactly,
we're
Caesar.
not condoning
You got
crimes here.
right, Caesar. You got anything else you want to add to what you liked about the game?
Mm, no,
Uh,
I really just like everything about it, but I'm a little biased to that. I've owned every version of the game since Armored Core on the
oh damn, I
PlayStation
didn't know
One.
that.
Well, on the
Nice.
PSX.
Ah, this
But
guy.
I've moved so many
It counts.
times that I've lost I've lost all of them. But
Ah, okay. It
yeah,
counts. It counts.
I do still have my copies of Floor Answer for the Xbox and the PlayStation.
Oh, I forgot that was on Xbox.
Yeah, on the
Yeah.
360.
Okay. Yeah. Well, going off from there, let's go ahead and talk about some things that we kind of didn't like about the game. Uh, Caesar, why don't you go ahead and just kind of like give us a rundown of a couple of things you didn't like?
It's too easy.
Caesar's a masochist. If he's
I'm
not
a
sweating
masochist.
through a playthrough, it's not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, I was able to clear all three endings or playthroughs with basically one hand because I couldn't hold the mouse, so I had to tape it to my cast. So I really didn't have the whole movement and tracking because not on PlayStation, on PC, your crosshair is linked to where your mouse is pointing, so I couldn't really like move my arm. But despite that, I still beat it 3 times over, uh,
Yeah, faster than
and
us, which says a lot.
with the same build too. So I
Oh,
mean,
you didn't change
granted,
it? You didn't like use different builds?
I did switch builds every now and again, just because I wanted to. When I'd hit like a roadblock, I just would try different things, but I always ended up going back to double Zimmermans. Yes, I'm that guy, and grenade launchers on the back. The stagger system is really, really broken. I mean, I
Yeah,
know that.
it's very forgiving.
Well, not really.
Not forgiving,
Now,
but very. You can take advantage of it like crazy.
Yeah, you can chain. You can almost stun lock anybody. You just gotta, depending on how good you are, you could just stun lock someone and it would be like a one-sided fight. But they need to do some balancing with the stagger things. I know there are people who can still fight through that, and those people I think are really good. Their builds are on point for that play style. But the stagger is just really too powerful. Like I feel, and it's kind of limited my choice in builds because like even after the patch when they buffed rifles still underperform in my opinion,
Yeah,
and
they suck.
with my play style, they don't.
Yeah,
If you're not staggering them, you're not doing damage.
yeah, not really.
So
It's just
that's the
damage.
one thing I really disliked about it. I also don't like us. The assault boost is a really cinematic and very gorgeous way to traverse the battlefield, but with the addition of
kind of
the
useful.
assault boost kick, that gets abused so hard. Like the fact that you can assault boost back to back after kicking and then immediately go into an
Yeah,
assault boost and kick again is
yeah,
just. I mean, granted, it's not the easiest thing to do because you still got a target, but the fact that you
exactly.
can
Yeah.
do that, it's really kind of broken.
Yeah, I've seen some people do assault boost, melee blade, assault boost, melee blade, and then just chain it like that. Because the cooldown basically lets you reuse your attacks over and over again.
Yeah,
But I mean, that's not that bad. The fact that those are the two major things that you just didn't like too much about the game. That just goes to show you how well they made From Software did to make this game.
yeah. I mean, it's still traditionally a Armored Core title. It feels like an Armored Core title. It plays like an Armored Core title. But also, unfortunately, it is an Armored Core title in the sense of like storytelling. Most everything is dialogue box. You have to read and listen to voice actors. It's not a very engaging storytelling type of
Oh, I
game.
hear you. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. A lot of people were saying that,
That's just FromSoft.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
That's just it.
we were actually talking about Matt. We were talking about that we kind of realized that FromSoft titles are books that you play where you had to kind of read to know about the lore or just listen to the dialect to learn about the lore. And what were you saying about the one game that it teaches you how to beat it instantly or something like that?
No, FromSoft titles, they everything is there. It teaches you all the mechanics of the game, but you just can't skip to tutorials.
Yeah, you
You
gotta read
actually
it.
have to read it, even at your character creation, because there's like certain items that you can start off with, but those items will only benefit certain classes, like your warrior,
Right.
thief, what have you.
Hmm.
And so it's just but that's something I've always liked about FromSoft. Unless Caesar's done, I could go from here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go for
yeah.
it.
I don't know.
Go for it.
What's something you didn't
Okay.
like about the game, Cease?
Oh,
I mean, Matt. Sorry. Matt, what's something
all
you
right.
didn't like about
So
the
what the thing? All right. So what I didn't really like about it is like I agree. The rifles suck. like like it's like
almost every
I can
kinetic
understand.
weapon kind of sucks,
Yeah, all the
except
kinetic weapons
the
kind
machine,
of suck.
except the miniguns. But yeah, almost every kinetic weapon kind of sucks,
And the shotguns are
But
great.
here's the thing
except the
too.
shotgun.
It requires depending on like the kinetic weapon, like the howitzer cannon you can carry around in your hand. That's a lot of weight that you gotta have the legs for, and then the cooldown time for just to get one shot off in between shots is aggravatingly long. We're talking about at least 5 to 6 seconds here. That's a lot, especially in a fast-paced combat. And half the time, like especially like those big boom type of weapons, they say, "Oh yeah, there's splash damage," but even the splash damage from the kinetic weapons don't do that much because 90, like I missed a lot with those big ass kinetic weapons. I'm like, you know what? Screw this. Uh, so now I use the minigun and laser rifle,
Mhm.
Player diff.
and huh?
Skill diff.
But
Keep going, man. Keep going.
but so like well, and even with the update and the buff, they do still kind of suck. Even like the shoulder and the variety of shoulder rockets. Like maybe it's because I haven't progressed far enough in the game,
Mhm.
but um, so I have like a couple of them, but
Missiles are kind of doo
I
doo.
need more.
I mean,
I
there's
need
some
more.
nice ones, but for the most part,
Yeah,
it's all pretty limited.
I, I fought this enemy where he had tracking missiles that shot out from the front. They didn't launch up in air; they shot out in the front. I'm like, hey, those are cool. I would like to have those, so that way I could shoot enemies and then like get them after killing this enemy. No, I
No,
don't.
but you will unlock them, Matt. I know which ones you're talking about. Yeah, it's all about progression, and yeah, the missiles aren't the best. Um, Even in the beginning, I kind of figured they weren't gonna be the best, but there are some that, if you combine them with specific weapons, they do definitely work as a good. I guess you can call it as a distraction. Like if you can get the enemy to waste their booster with the missiles, and then you can line up a shot with a heavy weapon or a shotgun or a laser rifle.
Yeah.
They do make for good cannon fodder. I think maybe that's what they were going for. Either way, missiles aren't best, but yeah, I mean,
Well,
they
the
could have.
kinetic ones, because like
Energy ones are pretty good. The plasmas.
the energy,
The energy
yeah, the
ones are really
plasma.
good.
But that's because
Oh
of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
AoE. The splash damage
the
still
a
hits something, and
Mm-hmm.
that's
yeah, and
why.
it really eats away at the armor.
Yeah. The
What else did you kind of like, man? Like, what's something else?
Uh, well, the well, at least from what I see and what I have, are uh some of the AC parts, like the arms, the legs. It's like I know it's all progression based and all that other stuff, but um, just a little bit more and not have them all look the same. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, give us
there's not
some
a lot of
variety,
variety as far as the parts are concerned. Like
aesthetics.
even weapons, like they
As
got rid
far,
of
yeah.
option parts, which I'm disappointed that they got rid of option parts because that just means less stuff for us to utilize. But then
Mm,
I also wish they'd kept from Armored Core 5 where they had the overed weapons, like those really ultimate weapons that, like the grind blade, ripped your arm off and replaced it with a one-shot weapon that you could use. I really wish
Oh
they'd
God, I
kept
remember those
those.
things.
Oh, damn! I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a high risk, high reward kind of gameplay system in Armored Core 5.
Ah, okay, okay. Omar, why don't you tell us some things you kind of didn't like about the game?
Well, one of the first things is that they limited the melee weapons to the left hand. I know that's an old
Mm,
staple from the previous Armored Core games, but in 4 and 4 Answer, you were able to dual wield melee weapons, and that was one of my favorite builds to do because I would dual wield fucking Moonlight Blades. Well,
Hmm.
I had Moonlight Blade on my right hand, and I had this one other blade. I can't remember what it was on my left, but it was the one that had a super long range, and it was one used by Noblesse Oblige, which was one of my two favorite Armor Core mechs in 4 Answer.
yeah, in
Um,
Armored Core 2, there used to be weapon arms. That's another thing I wish they had kept is weapon arms. Because in Armored Core 2, they had a dual blade weapon arm option, so it replaced both arms with laser blades.
yeah.
And also
Well,
like slug guns and a bunch of other things,
well,
missile launchers, machine guns.
going back
But
to what Caesar was saying about removing option parts and with the weapon arms, previous Armored Core games did have core units where they had a weapon on them, like a fucking chain gun. They need to
Nice.
bring those back. I would wish that
well,
they
they
would do
did.
that.
They kind of did.
They did?
Yeah, like so it's going to be later in the game, but you'll
Okay.
get orbits because and that's what was in the previous armored cores were exceed orbits.
I remember the Exceed orbits. Yeah, they were like two dual funnels that just popped out from the backpack or something like that.
Yes. So they still
Yeah.
have them, but now they're back weapons. So once
Mm,
again you lose more options because you have now you're sacrificing your back weapons for these orbits. Granted, they're
yeah.
pretty nice and they can keep the heat on, which is kind of a godsend when it comes to like a really fast paced game like this, and
Uh,
for more fledgling pilots who can't really control their mechs very well. It does a lot of auto tracking, so it's still good. But yeah, they kind of need to have
Yeah.
their own slot instead of taking over a back weapon.
Another thing that I didn't really
uh,
like about the game is that going back to weapons and stuff is that they removed the option to equip shoulder parts, whether it's like optional shoulder parts or weapons. Because what I said about one of the old Armor Core games where you had to equip the part to do the instant turn, that was
Mm.
a shoulder weapon. But they also had like shoulder missiles. They had chain guns that you could put on your weapons, or like
They had increased magazine sizes. That's the big thing. I so in all the other armored cores, I used to use machine guns. I was always a machine gun guy. But in this, they don't have extended magazines, so I run out of ammo even with the minigun at 1,300 rounds. I'm still running out of ammo, and so that's why I ended up going double Zimmerman shotguns because I just don't have the ammo for a full auto build. They just don't seem
long
to
shot.
yeah, they don't seem to stand the long game or sustained combat because there's just not enough
Yeah,
ammo.
the long drawn out battles that, or those exceptionally long levels, like that you have to fight your way through. And that's one thing too, is that item drops or supply drops. Yeah, they drop them every once in a while, like usually before you face a boss, but there's not, you go in raw with what you carry.
Yeah,
You
you
don't
don't
really
well,
pick up.
you don't need to have so many supply drops. You just got to get good.
True.
But because I mean, but like most of the levels, so I run. If I'm not running Zermans, I'm running bazookas, and so I only have like 50 rounds in both arms, and then like 20 rounds in the back weapons because I'm using grenade launchers. But most missions, I don't see me needing more than 100 shots for anything. But there are just some missions like near the end where you fight the red gun or the red gun's leader. It's just like a endurance test. There's just waves and waves of enemies, and for a while, like I couldn't do double Zimmermans because I kept running out of ammo, and I couldn't do bazookas because I kept running out of ammo. Uh, so
I'm
I
starting
mean,
to notice a trend.
yeah. So I mean, but there's only like one or two missions that are really like that, really like ammo intensive, and those are the missions that I really struggled in. Is just because of those prolonged fights and just being overwhelmed by so many different like targets.
But
Interesting.
also going back to like the limitations too of like it's um like with the weapons is like let's say you purchase a weapon, it's just not accessible. It's only like accessible for like left or right hand. You know
It's funny
the
you
it's
say that,
like
Matt, because that's actually one gripe I had. I remember I purchased the
eh,
weapon, right? And then I was trying to put it on the left arm. I had purchased it for the right, and I was trying to put it on the left arm. I'm like, wait a minute, I just bought it.
yeah,
And then I go into the garage, and it says I need to
and
buy
then
it
you
for
have
the
to
left arm.
buy it.
And
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
but it's
like
been like that in every Armored Core though.
I mean, I can understand if you want to dual wield. Yeah, you should buy two of them. But I mean, I kind of felt like, why can't I just swap the guns
yeah,
between left and right?
yeah, weapon
But
placement.
why
Like
couldn't you
if you
just
buy a
buy the gun
weapon,
for the right hand to begin with? Ugh.
No, I wasn't even aware that you. That's how I found out. I was like, "Oh,
fucking
you have to
Caesar.
buy for the left and the right." I was like, "What?"
I know, mind
Yeah,
blowing.
that's
Yeah,
I
that actually
mean,
blew my mind.
weapon placement after you buy the weapon should just be available. You shouldn't have to buy six of everything.
Well, it'd be
Nah.
two of everything, one for left and right. Omar, are you still there? I'm wondering if we lost you because I know you were kind of getting disconnected here and there.
No, I'm still here. Just got
Okay,
lost in
cool.
the chatter.
All right. Well, once you finish what you were saying about what you didn't really like about the game.
Well, going back to what you guys were saying, that you had to buy the weapons and for a specific hand. That's what I was actually gonna add too.
Ah,
'Cause,
nice. See, Caesar,
yeah,
we're not the only ones.
Player diff.
again, in previous armored
Fucking
in previous
rookies.
AC games, you only had to buy the weapon and boom, it was already there. Like you equipped it to either or hand.
What? No, that's not what I remember.
See, see,
Pro,
see, Caesar. When you buy a gun, you don't buy one for your left arm and your right arm, do you?
Yeah, this is
I mean, I remember it
2023,
that you do
bro.
that. Hey, you
I'm
shut
either
your
pretty
mouth.
sure most guns.
that was
I'm
probably in
pretty
the
sure
PS2
Don't
most
era
deny
guns.
my
games,
truth.
What were you saying? You saying over?
wow.
What were you saying over?
What Caesar remembers is probably from the PS2 era games, but I remember distinctly in 4 and 4 Answer where I just bought one weapon and I could equip it to either or hand.
Also,
It,
also I know is that I remember I'm pretty sure most guns are ambidextrous, so I don't see why you couldn't
ambidextrous,
just buy them.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Is that
Not
all
just
you have? Is that all you have one for about things you don't like?
for the most part, yeah. But I mean, also with what Matt said about the aesthetics or like the designs of the units. So
Hmm.
far, like I wanted to comment that Matt, the designs are based off each of the like the factor
The
Factions
the
or
faction.
manufacturers.
The
yeah, the
manufacturers.
manufacturing factions, they have a similar theme, so that's why you're gonna
Right.
see the biped, or like you're gonna see a set of legs that look the same as a biped, and then you're gonna see that same set as a quadruped. So there's that. But
Right.
I do would like, oh, I would like to see a little bit more variety, but again, I'm still not that far into the game, so I'm probably had to unlock more stuff.
Ah, okay.
But
Alright.
yeah, for the most part, like otherwise, it still plays as a traditional Armored Core game. They did streamline it so it could be more accessible to new players, and how Caesar was saying earlier that the accessibility is good to bring in new players and to just get a bigger market for it, so they can start.
You cut out. Omar, you cut out just now.
R.I.P.
Right. I was saying that the game is a lot easier, not a lot easier, but it's more streamlined for new players, which is good,
Yeah.
and to get a bigger fan base, and so that FromSoft can make more money
Hmm.
and produce more products, like more Armored Core games
Elden
and
Ring
Armored Core
2.
and all that
Oh,
shit.
we already know that's on the works, Omar. I mean, Matt. We already know that's on
Elden
the works.
Ring's getting a fucking large DLC, man. Shut up.
Yeah.
I know,
I
I
You
can't
you
need
guys
wait.
open world Armored Core, please.
that would be
Yeah,
sick. But let's leave
yeah.
that. Let's leave that to the end. Let's leave that to you guys have anything else you want to add as far as like stuff you don't like or stuff you do like?
Um, no, I mean, like I said, like I was saying, it's a solid Armored Core game. It's
Mhm.
plays like an
Oh
Armored
yeah,
Core game from the
Uh,
graphics, the
well,
animation, all of it is just fucking beautiful.
it really
I
is.
got one more thing to say about things I don't like and do like. It that has to do with the assault boost. Is the assault boost like it's very visually pleasing, and everything else that Caesar said about it. But at times, it can get in the way. Like I have accidentally clicked the stick and gone and just assaulted boost
But
without
that's still better
intentional
than going
intent.
into rocket manual aim, like in all the other
That's
titles.
true.
That's the
And
one thing.
also, but also, there are times where you think it's gonna be helpful and useful, and it's just not.
I
It's
mean,
You
you
like
just got
just
fly
to get
over
not.
on
the
PC.
enemy.
That's why.
You fly over the
Yeah,
enemy.
you fly
Caesar's
right past the enemy.
Caesar's
Yeah,
master race.
Mm-hmm.
screw
What
you
were
and
you
your
gonna say?
PC master race.
What were you gonna say, Caesar? What were you gonna say?
No, just you got to get on PC then, because the assault boost is on the keyboard. It's on left control, so I mean it's really out of the way. So anytime you're assault boosting, it's intentional. But
Uh,
I think it's better that it's an assault boost when you accidentally push down that joystick rather than what it has been in previous games where it just disables your auto lock and makes you manually aim shit like the rockets, which was terrible. I'm actually kind of glad they got rid of the rockets, although some people would complain because the rockets did a lot more damage, but it was more of a feat of skill to actually hit people with it.
Yeah, because it would be a line of sight, right? You have to line up the shot.
Yeah, you'd actually have to aim, which nowadays these young whippersnappers can aim 360 no scope, so
Caesar's
maybe
from
it's a
that
good.
era Caesar's from that era where you had to be good to get actually land a shot. Like they didn't
we
have
all are,
auto
Ed.
lock. Back in my day, we didn't have auto lock.
Pepperidge Farms
we played
remembers.
the we played the original Call of Duty too.
All right, so let's move on. Next up, what are some things you would like to see them add to the game? It's had 2 updates so far, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna add DLC. But what are some things you would like to see added to the game? Caesar, why don't you go first?
Um, so I would like to see, um, like some kind of a free roam mode,
That would be cool.
or at least, or at the very well, no, that would be the very least. But ideally, I'd like to have multiplayer co-op. Would be the
Uh,
biggest
a lot of
thing,
people,
and
a lot of
crossplay.
people
It's
were disappointed.
2023 and no crossplay yet.
I know, right? A lot of people were disappointed that they didn't have co-op, at least 2-player co-op. And
Yeah.
yeah, crossplays for sure was a big disappointment.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to get a PlayStation version and
PlayStation say,
lose my edge with mouse and keyboard. I'll probably start accidentally assault boosting if I start playing.
just so we can play some PvP.
Yeah,
Hey,
because
it's cheaper than us. It's cheaper than us getting PCs, okay, C's?
yeah,
Where they're
but you should be
$1,500
getting
for a standard one.
PCs.
Oh, we
Hey,
should.
a standard
Oh,
one
we
runs
should.
about
What is this
1,500,
good
okay,
shit?
and that's one that only runs on low settings.
Hey, you're about to go and start playing Magic the Gathering, so I don't want to hear that from you. You're gonna be spending way more than that on cardboard than you would be with the PC.
That is true, Ed.
Hey, I spend more than that on plastic, so.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
All right. Anybody else got anything they want to add? They would like to see added to the game?
Oh hell yeah, I got a shit ton.
Oh wait, Caesar, you weren't finished. My bad.
Oh no, I'm good. I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. All right, go. Oh, actually, Omar, I want to save you for last because I know you got a plethora of things you want to add.
Oh hell yeah, I do.
Alright,
Hell yeah.
Matt, what about you? What's something you would like to see
Okay,
in the game?
aside from a multiplayer co-op with cross-platform, aside from that, I would like to see two things. One is a boss rush mode.
Yes, that would be fun.
I would love to have a boss rush mode, and also,
Zombies, duh.
that would be kind of cool. That might not be bad.
giant mech zombies. That'd be fucking sick. But
They had
anyways,
that in Verdict,
It did?
Yeah.
No
It was
way.
was one of the final bosses that I never got to, but yeah, they had it was a zombie kind of mech AI thing.
No way, that's
Oh,
kind of
that's fucking
cool.
sick. But
Yeah.
Nice.
the other thing would be a little bit more of exploration. I know the game's super linear, and that it's pretty much from point A to point B, and there's only like a couple of branching paths here and there. I would just like a little bit more of exploration per map.
I agree. I agree with that. Going off of that zombie thing you said, Matt. I don't know if you guys ever watched the show Transformers Prime. There was an episode where Optimus and Megatron actually fight a horde of zombie robots. So going off of that, I would like to see that, but with Armored Core mechs, where you're fighting these reanimated, I guess, suits with their pilots.
Suits.
I mean, it
With their
would make
pilots reanimated.
sense because, like, in one of the endings, um,
Spoiler alert!
yeah, spoiler
For
alert. In one of the
Get good
endings,
and beat the game.
when you when
no, go.
when you have the coral release, it kind of just show like all of the armored cores become merged with the coral. So you've got like all these mechs rising up as sentient
Zombies.
beings. So I mean, they're kind of like
Oh,
zombies. I mean, they're not like decrepit or anything, but like
right.
it from what it looks like, the each individual like coral like air, for instance, like every mech is now linked to their own specific like coral entity, like air, and so they can kind of control their own mech. So there, it could be the premise for a zombie mode with just a horde of like coral merged AC units and just fighting a whole like wave after wave of them. So I can see them
Hmm,
probably doing something like that.
interesting. That would be cool. I would definitely, and if they make it a multiplayer co-op
So
thing,
good.
that'd be even better. Um, Matt, what else? Matt, what else would you like to add, or like, would you like to be added? Or are you good?
If I could
No,
add another thing. Mm. Mute button for Caesar. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
you can't contain me.
Hell no.
I can try, and I will try. But
And
anyways,
you will.
probably.
All right, go
No,
for it. Go.
but so, but aside from like now going back to the logos and creating your custom logos, all that stuff is done in game. It'll be nice if you could pull an image from Google and create a
Make
custom
that.
logo like that and put it in the game. But
I think you
at
can,
last,
cause I
either A, I don't know if you can do that or if there is a way, and I just don't know how. But
yeah, I
I
think
think it would add a little bit more depth to the logo customization because a logo customization I have going on is, well, with the Crusader Arms slogan, and I would like a couple of the Nord dragons that you often see in like their tattoos and on the front of their ships on either side of the Crusader's arm
I mean, you can. You
logo.
just
I
have to
think
be
that
good.
yeah. I mean, well, the
I
emblem.
don't have the patience
Well,
to
then
Yeah,
sit
he does.
there.
you don't get rewarded for not
Yeah,
having
he
patience.
wants instant gratification. But I
Yeah,
mean, I get what you mean, and I want to
Just
say
on
there
that,
is a
just
way.
on that, just on that, I want the instant gratification because this game demands a lot of your attention to like go through parts and figure out how to get a good build going to make it through the next level. All right,
there's not
and
enough
my
selection
patience
for
wears thin.
that. There's not enough options for it to be that difficult to find it, in my opinion. But like, I think it the reason why they didn't do that was might be an IP type of deal because
Yeah, yeah.
From Software
It could be.
is selling
Copyright
this
issue might
game.
be copyright issue might be a thing. But I could have sworn I had seen somebody do it I mean, if I
Someone
figure it out,
created
Well, there are
if I figure it
mods.
out,
somehow.
I'll send it to
Oh,
you, man.
okay.
But I mean, I want to say there is. Either way, I mean,
Well,
yeah,
because
that would be cool.
someone had what's Omarr's symbol from Gundam.
Yeah,
That's
Maybe
because
they
that's
they
made
made it.
it.
that's easy as hell to make though.
They
Yeah,
made
maybe
it
they made
in
it.
game, Matt.
Dude, I've seen people do like
Anime
SpongeBob,
waifus.
Patrick, anime waifus. I mean, it takes time, but yeah, it can be done. Like some of the emblems that some people have made are almost like, dude, this looks better than some graphic artists. Like,
Yeah, there was one
did a
guy
better
that made
job.
like a Zaku icon, and I hate
No way,
Zaku's.
really?
I fucking hate Zaku's, but it was cool looking.
Why? They're
But they're on
ugly but
PC, I believe.
useful.
It's the mono eye, man. It's the mono
No, it's
eye.
the thighs. It's the thighs and
Oh
calves.
yeah,
It's
I
the
hate the thighs
thighs.
and calves of the Zaku. Everything else is
I'll
okay,
give you
but
that.
the legs are fucking
I'll give you
dumb.
No, I mean I like the Zaku, the custom build, the one
This
with
the
the
Zaku
shield and gatling,
warriors are cool.
and the Red Rocket was pretty cool. But I mean, we're
No,
getting
he
on
still
point.
had
All right,
legs.
I know Omar. All right, go for it, Omar. I know you're just hankering
Chomping
for
at the
this.
bit.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. All right. So
Only got the
going
mouth.
and
going to
he
what
pulls
Matt.
out a scroll, just like unfurls it.
It's not a scroll. It's a book. Okay. It's a huge ass
Okay, there
fucking
you
book.
go. All right,
All
let's
right.
go. Let's go. Let's go.
Going back to what Matt was saying about the emblem creator. In previous Armored Core games, there was a function where you could hand create, or not hand create, but you could use like pencils and stuff like that to create your emblem in game. And I think that's what
Really?
Matt wants. So they need to bring that function back because it was like a pencil thing where you could draw. Like if you had the patience to use a fucking the the joysticks to draw the shit, you'll be able to make what you want, Matt.
Damn, that's pretty
And
See,
intricate.
I
I
mean,
could get behind something like that, and
yeah,
all his images would
it was
look like
basically
Sketch and Etch
yeah, it was basically
or
using
Etch and
like
Sketch.
the Windows Paint app on an Armored Core
right.
game. That's what okay.
Interesting.
'Cause that was in previous Armored Core games. I remember that in
Yeah,
Armored Core 3 and like Last Raven and all that stuff. I remember that function pretty
yeah.
well.
I didn't really like it. I mean, I do think it's useful for a lot of the emblem
Yeah,
creators because you're really kind of limited to what you can imagine different shapes and things looking like. And to be
hmm
honest,
The
they give
layers
you a
are
lot of
limited.
yeah, they give you a lot of options, and there's a lot of layers. You get 128 layers, and as soon as you start running out
yeah,
of layers, you can just start grouping them up, and then I think you got like 32 subgroups, and you can just keep grouping things up into a single group, and then so you
yeah.
practically
I'm
have
telling
an
you,
infinite amount of layers.
Armored Core
Nice.
was pretty intense, and when it came to emblem design back in the day, so that's
I can
something that
see
they could easily re-implement. So that's
I
what
can see
Matt
they
wants.
kept them. Yeah. Wow, that's actually pretty impressive. I
Yeah,
definitely want to spend more time in the Emblem Creator. Uh, but yeah, that's actually kind of cool that you could do that back then. So that would
yeah.
be cool to add. What else, Homer? What else? What else?
Okay, and then again, going back to what Caesar and Matt was saying about the exploration and open world, I want them to have an option where you could go back to the different the different areas per mission to try and find those hidden objects without having to go through the entire fucking mission again.
I see what you mean. Like
But
you
you
go
gotta
back
earn
after
that.
that and just
Yeah,
explore a
but
little bit.
you have the option to explore the stage more at a comfort.
Oh, RIP.
Omar, you
I
cut
mean,
off.
you do get that option anyways. You just don't progress through the mission, but
Or
you
you
have to
just kill. Or
finish the
you just
mission.
kill everybody. You kill everybody and then explore.
Yeah,
Yeah, but then that's also the thing. You have to complete the mission in order to keep the item that you just found,
yeah, you
which is
gotta earn
That's
something.
it.
true.
Yeah, yeah, I
That's
guess, but
true.
still, like
Caesar,
it adds to the
this,
exploration part.
Hmm.
Caesar,
And
this is Armor Core. It is not Demon Souls. It doesn't need to be that fucking hard.
It's not that
For
hard. Get good. I beat it with one hand.
I am good.
I don't know. Debatable. All right, Omar. What else you got? What else you got?
all right, so and then again, we need multiplayer missions. I don't care if it's a separate campaign,
Hmm.
but I want missions where we could play with our group of friends, more than 3 people, please. I want at least a team of 6,
Right?
a team of 6 cores where we could fucking fight just go through missions. Like it doesn't
Give
have to
us
be
arm
Final Fantasy.
sports again.
Exactly.
Give us arm
But
sports. Make it like how Monster Hunter World had it, or any of the other
Yes,
Monster Hunter titles, where you can
yes, that
join
one.
with your friends and then have a bunch of people go and attack, say, fucking the Answerer or some other kind of like
Spirit of
massive,
Motherwell.
yeah, Spirit Mother was some kind of like massive arms fort. Because in Armored Core 4, the arms forts fights were the best part of the entire game. Like, I
Yes,
mean,
they fucking were. Yes, and
because
it fucking
it
gave you
made
the
you
chance
feel
to
like
like
a badass.
yes. And
Yeah,
that's actually something that I wanna add to like what's also another thing that I want to add. Legacy ACs. I want parts from previous Armored Core games, like for the title Armored Core, the main Armored Core, like from 4 and 4 Answer. It's the Aaliyah, the fucking Noblesse Oblige, White Glint, Nine Breaker, the Seraph. I want
well,
I
you
want
never get
parts
the
for the
Seraph in Master of Arena.
no no,
You
but
get,
you can still play as still play
plays
as
the original Nine Ball, but
yeah. But you and also another Centuries episode, you could play as Armored Core units in there too. Remember that those games, Caesar?
hmm,
It's also another FromSoft game, another Centuries episode.
I've not played that one, so I've never heard of
Oh
that.
my god, you haven't?
No, I'm gonna have to
It's a
go check it
fucking
out now.
it's a crossover mech game from like every major mech series ever, from Gundam to Evangelion, Eureka 7, and it's a FromSoft product.
Oh damn.
Really?
Yeah, just check out the last game that came out was another Centuries episode R on the PS3. Those the anime, like, just check out the opening cinematic again, beautiful. But yes, I want
Well,
legacy.
it
I
is
want
from
like yeah, I want legacy AC units. I want legacy missions as DLC, which includes fighting the arms forts. Because those arms forts missions, again, like what Caesar was saying, were the best in 4 and 4 Answer. Sorry, 4 and 4 Answer are my favorite iterations of the games because it was basically dogfights all over the place. It was the fastest Armored Core has ever been. You were basically in the air for an indefinite amount of time, and you just felt like a fucking fighter pilot just going all over the place with that thing.
Well, there is a mission in the game that kind of does that, right, Caesar?
Oh yeah, near the end, but
Yeah,
I
I know.
mean that's only like one mission. Although,
Yeah.
like, depending on how you build your mech, you can already have indefinite flight. It's just you got to play a little bit with the recoil system to kind of keep
Yeah,
you
I know there's
suspended
that.
while you recharge your energy.
I have seen some people that found a way to kind of spam stay in the air where they assault boost and then go into a kick, and as the kick cools down, the generator reloads, so you get back to boosting again. Like, for instance, the mission where you're fighting the sea spider when you're getting across the bridge, some people did that. So they would assault boost, and then get across that like that without you losing any height. Well, not losing that much height, anyways. But I know what you mean, Omar. Like just zipping around, kicking ass like crazy. That would be fun.
Exactly. I
Hey,
would also like to see some handheld melee weapons. I'm not really
what's
a big
handheld
fan of
mid weapon?
like
Oh, I know
I'm
what
not
you mean. I know what you mean.
yeah, I'm
like a
not really
longsword.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly. I'm not really a big fan of the melee weapons being attached to the forearm. I'd rather hold them in my hand.
Mhm.
Because I
Yeah, but
mean,
I
what's the
mean, but
point?
that's Armored Core to its
I know
core.
it's
That's
an
always
armored
been
core
the thing.
staple, yeah, yeah, yada yada. But I mean, what's the point of having a weapon attached to your forearm, but not being able to equip the secondary gun on your left hand?
Yeah, I kind of got an issue with that one right
Yeah,
there.
that does kind of make a little bit of
That's a
sense
good
there.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Like you
like if
got a
you're gonna
free
equip
hand.
yeah, if you're gonna equip the melee weapon on one hand and it's gonna take up a weapon slot, so you can't use your hand at all, just fucking make it handheld and make it more sensible that
Exactly.
way.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I mean, you
But
could carry something around like a pistol in your
exactly.
offhand,
A
and
backup
then
weapon.
slash. Yeah, you know, I mean, even if they didn't give you the option to like equip like a main rifle to your whatever hand has the blade on it, just you can make it like an SMG or like a
Yeah,
sidearm.
exactly. Like you have a freaking free manipulator, use it.
I think in
well,
one
that's
of
one
the
thing that
older titles, they did have like a holster spot or a core slot that you could put like a sub weapon in, like a pistol
They
or
kind
something.
of
You
yeah,
can't.
they
Omar
that was
did.
kind of have
that was
that.
four
Omar.
and four answer. That was
Oh,
Omar
four and four
didn't
They
answer.
Dame.
kind
oh,
of.
okay.
Omar didn't
I mean,
Damon
they.
Ex Machina have something like that?
Yeah, they Demon X Machina again. Okay, Demon X Machina is a spiritual successor to Armored Core because they had a lot of the producers and designers from previous Armored Core games make that game. Their melee weapons were handheld, and they even had shields, like
Hmm.
physical shields, which is something that
Hmm.
what I want to add to it. Like I want to see maybe a crossover between the two games. I know they're different companies, but they have the same production team.
It's. I believe that Demon X Machina is just FromSoft with a different name,
Basically, yeah.
making more money.
Hey,
Like
it was still a good title. It was a
Yeah,
good title.
I do
they're
wish
making
it
they
it seem
had
was
like
the.
like a
I do
great
wish they
one.
had They had like physical shields instead of just energy
yeah, they
shields,
had
because
physical.
like some having shields that like do better against kinetic weapons or against the pulse weapons. Like the shields now are all energy shields. They're a back weapon, so they take up a back weapon slot, and they are countered by pulse weapons. But it'd be nice to have like a physical shield that looks like more armor-ish, and I know they had it in previous titles, and have it be more resistant to pulse weapons, but more susceptible to kinetic and
Fanatic.
explosive and all that stuff. Would be kind
Yeah,
of cool too.
it was in Armored Core 5 and Verdict Day where they had shields on the knees.
Mm-hmm.
They had one big ass shield on the knee of the units, and you were able to do like a boost kick with it and bash them with the shield.
Nice. Like a
That
Anita's face.
yeah, it's essentially yeah. But I would if they do incorporate like physical shields, I would like that option to have a shield bash, especially
Hmm.
like let's say you get pinned down by a couple, or you just want make it a substitute to the boost kick. Instead of a boost kick, you could an OS
Shield
tuning
bash.
thing like in OS tuning, you have a physical shield, shield bash.
Yeah.
You have a energy shield, do like a freaking shield pulse or something.
Hmm.
Just so that you could get the enemies to back off you for a minute or just like a few seconds, just to get so that you'll be able to freaking just boost out of the way and then continue on with your way.
That's true, because you can't get overwhelmed at times by enemies,
Yeah,
because they do come at you from all sides.
Give me
exactly.
back my
But yeah,
primal armor.
Right?
oh yeah, primal
Get
armor. I mean,
good and you dodge them all.
I do. You can't
okay,
talk.
Piccolo.
I've already beaten the game.
You got anything else somewhere?
Well, like I said, just legacy units, handheld, physical blades. I also want them to have more blade options because so far there's only been like what 6 or 7.
Oh, there's a lot.
About there's a
There's
lot
a
more,
lot.
but you get them
There's a
at
lot.
the end. Like there's
On
one particular weapon I'm looking forward to unlock, Caesar, and it's that little knife that you can stab
Oh,
multiple
the
times
dagger.
with.
Yeah, that one's
Yes,
cool.
I see gameplay of
What are
that.
you
And it's
gonna
like
do?
bad.
Just
Yeah, its charge weapon's a
what are you
fucking
gonna
lariat.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's a freaking Larry. But I like the motion it does. Like,
Yeah.
well, Matt, when you get that weapon, you're gonna really like it because the motion it does, it's actually reminiscent to an actual knife combat. So
Hmm.
it looks really cool when it does it.
That's
Oh,
also
I
another
thought
thing.
you were gonna just get the dagger and just run up and just prison shame the other
No, you can't
mechs.
do that. That's the cool thing. You can't do that. But when you charge it, it does like an interesting combo where it slashes and stabs. Wait till you unlock
Huh.
it. Wait till you unlock it. You'll like it. You'll like
All
it.
right.
All right,
That's
Omar, you
also
got anything else?
yeah. That's also another thing that I wanted to add, like a variety of melee weapons. Add some clubs, some hammers, some like a spear or
A
something.
mace. Just a
Yeah, like
big old
club.
morning star.
Exactly. Like if you someone wants to build a heavy unit, fucking give them the heavy weapons and then make them bash them with a fucking giant ass club, a giant
Right.
ass
This is
spiked morning
Armored
star.
Core, not Unga Bunga 6.
Might as well
He
be.
wants to. It's because he wants to replay
It's Armor Core Knights Edition.
he wants to replay the episode from Gundam Barbara Gundam
Iron
Blooded.
Blooded
Iron Blooded
Orphans.
Orphan.
Iron Blood
Trying to
Orphans.
get Barbados.
Yeah, he's trying to do the Barbados run where he's fighting against the Ashmal or whatever it's called.
The Hashmal? Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
the
That
Ashmal.
tool
Hashmal.
is fucking
Tears
sick.
it up with that big ass sword. I mean, I
No,
wouldn't
but
mind doing that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's that's
what?
that's one thing I would like to have is that, and it kind of tees off of the free roam thing that I and Omar had mentioned, but like kind of like a, a recording or picture mode type things with like poses. Like in Armored Core 5, you could have your mech stand in particular poses, action poses, make it look like it was about to swing its weapon and things like that. But
Oh yeah, they had that in Demon X too, where you could give them different poses, like pre static poses,
yeah,
without having to catch them in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, you
yeah,
can change the background too.
Yeah, and then just picture mode right there. Just have them in separate, like have them with their engines or the thrusters activated, their blades activated, stuff like that.
yeah, or more like, or not really
One.
like picture mode, but like camera mode. Because like what I'm kind of envisioning is, back in the day when Rooster Teeth was still starting, they had like red versus blue, and
Hmm.
basically
Oh, I know
they
what you
just
mean,
did like
Caesar.
recordings for how everyone moves. If we could do that
And
with armored cores instead, that'd be kind of fun to have like little indie video clips or short movies.
I know
kind
what you
of
mean,
like
Caesar, and it's
kind of
actually
like giving
something
them
I
emotes.
yeah, I know what you mean, Caesar, and it's actually something I wanted to be added to the game too. It's called theater mode.
Yeah,
Halo did have it, and Fortnite does have it. Basically, what it does, it records the gameplay, and it lets you play it back, but with different camera angles. So, for instance, if you want to do it like it's playing out the way you're normally playing, you can change it like that, or you can make it first person, or you can even do it where the camera is at an angle and it's recording like an action scene. Um, a lot of people use theater mode to basically do, like you said, the red versus blue with Halo, or they'll do like little movies with Fortnite, and you see a lot of players just act out scenes with their characters, and they'll record it in theater mode and edit it and then upload it to YouTube. That would be hella cool, especially if we can all play online together and just do episodes where we're just being dumbasses.
yeah. So
That would be
first
hella
need
fun.
crossplay.
That would be hella fun.
If
Uh,
NME can have crossplay, why can't Armored Core 6?
exactly. And then spectator mode would also be cool. I know PvP has it, but a spectator mode where you can watch a player play, that'd be kind of cool too. Because there are some games that have that. They'll let you like they don't actually have to stream it. You can actually watch them play.
Well, you can do that on Steam. You can request to
Uh,
watch someone play.
we don't all have PCCs, all right?
Hmm.
It sounds like the
This
you
isn't a PC.
problem.
You know
Sounds
what?
like an
It is.
expensive problem.
Soldier Boy, I tell 'em.
It's. But
Omar, you got anything else? Omar, did you get disconnected?
R.I.P.
I'm still here.
Oh, you have anything else to add on?
I thought I did, but I can't think. Well, no, because that's stemming more into Demon X Machina territory. But I was gonna
Okay.
say like maybe have a like a pilot figure.
Hmm.
But considering this game, it's
You
not
already
necessarily
get
a
that.
pilot.
Just like take a stick and wrap it in saran wrap and then paint it brown.
Well,
You're just a
what
meat sack,
but
practically.
Caesar's going off of the character you play, 626. Again, that's his name. He doesn't have any other
61.
name. You're yeah,
6 to 1.
621.
He's not
You're
Stitch.
basically just. I know he's not Stitch. Almost. You're basically just a shell. You're
Yeah,
actually linked to the. You're basically Kane from RoboCop 2. You're Robo Kane basically.
yeah, I figured
You're
as much, but
you're
Well,
a
I mean,
non-corporeal entity.
they made it seem like that in the trailers, the teaser trailers, but like
Uh-huh.
later on in the game, it doesn't quite like hold up. There's a few holes in that in the world state when it comes to that. So I
Well,
mean,
when
I'd still like to think
when
of us
Wal-
as just meat sacks strapped
when
up to a
Walter says
machine.
when Walter says you should rest up, I'm like, rest up how? Like I can't leave
Exactly.
this suit.
I'm
Or
just
when
a
he said
colostomy bag for an AC.
exactly, or when he said this will be good
we've been
money for you, and I'm like, how am I
we've
gonna
been
spend?
eyeing. We've been eyeing.
what?
We're part of the eyeing from fucking IBO.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
Oh,
about him. Yeah, I forgot about him. I feel
Oh
bad for
yeah.
him. Um.
but
Okay. One thing I would like to add to the game is kind of like how Destiny has those multiplayer modes where you have multiple players drop in and fight a boss. I don't know what they call it, but
a
um,
raid mode.
a raid mode. There you go. A raid mode would be fun.
Again,
But
like how me, just like
Destiny
what me
is
and
an
Caesar,
MMO.
Mhm. Oh, what were you saying, Omar? Omar?
R.I.P.
can,
Hello.
can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up?
Now we
Right.
can.
All right. So like what me and Caesar were saying earlier, bring in the arms forts
Oh, that's what
and
that is.
yeah, arms forts are literal giant fucking moving bases.
They're
Nice.
And
more like
yeah,
multiplayer bosses, or they could play as like
Okay.
multiplayer bosses. But I think what you were trying to say is like missions, essentially co-op missions, or are you also
yeah,
thinking like a boss fight, Ed?
both.
Yeah, they're like a boss fight where you go in with other players and you just take on the giant boss.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what we had already gone over with the
Okay.
Covered.
arms forts being as like a giant boss that multiple players can fight against, and that's
Right.
reminiscent of like Monster Hunter uh,
Oh,
fights.
but I do want to tweak that a bit because Caesar, if you remember in for answer the answerer, it had an area where you could just spam it with the fucking power bunker
Oh
where
yeah,
you were
like
safe from.
up in its waist. You just got to
Yeah,
get above all the like laser shard shooty bits.
yeah, the fucking laser spam. I
Yeah.
want the arm force to increase in difficulty based on how many people you have in your group.
Well, I mean, it would have to do that anyways. Like that, it would have to scale. You couldn't just
Yeah,
like
like
have it be a
yeah.
solo boss and then
So
bring people in.
it would scale based on like how many units you have in your crew. So I want to say maybe the maximum can be 8. Why not?
I would say 16.
It
Depending on
better
how
be like
depending
a
on the size.
planet-sized fucking.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, maybe not
Dude, no,
planet-sized, but maybe like the coral
a mountain
A
size,
tower
large
type
continent.
size.
fucking Mount Everest kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that'd be okay.
Well, no,
Basically a
because
flying fortress.
in for answer they had these things that called cradles that were fucking hovering above high above the surface, and we had one of the missions is that we had to destroy them, basically cause mass genocide. Remember that mission, Caesar?
Yep,
Yeah.
I kept falling
Yeah.
off.
Mass genocide.
So
Jeez.
that could be one of the missions that we could do. It could be two separate teams of online players. So one team would be focused on destroying the cradles, and the other team could be focused on protecting them and stopping that opposing team.
But that'd be
That'd be
so
kind
hard
of
to
fun.
balance, though.
That would be hard to balance, but it'd be still be fun. Still be
It
fun.
It
would be
would
fun.
be
Well,
fun,
that's why
but like the attacking team would always win.
Right.
true.
Unless you give the defending team extra boosts like maybe stationary weapons or automated
Turret.
weapons, or
Well, no,
even their health pool is higher than the attacking team.
Well, I
the
mean
cradles will
the
be able to defend the turrets will be able to, or the cradles will be able to defend themselves with like auto cannons and stuff like that. But you just have to stop the fucking opposing team.
Hmm.
mm,
I mean,
I don't know, but
I'm sure there's ways they can balance it. Like usually when it comes to the attacking, the defending, they give the defender a better defense or higher health pool, just to kind of even it out.
Not
yeah,
in
but something like
medieval.
Yes,
something
I
like
know,
that.
Matt. I know we've been there. We remember. We media buff guys remembers. You got anything else, Omar?
No, that's about it.
I mean, for me,
buy his books.
one thing I would like to add to the game is the ability to uh, enhance parts. So, for instance,
Oh, level them up or upgrade them.
let's say you really like a part, but you can't use it because it just doesn't have the parameters needed. If there's a way you can enhance it, which I mean, why isn't that a possibility
Tuning.
already? It's exactly tuning. There you go, Caesar. You got it. Just to raise certain stats or make him a little better. Because going to back what Matt said about the aesthetics, some parts look really cool, but they just don't have the stats.
They're
You know,
just ass.
it is ass because there's some parts that I'm like, oh, this part looks really cool, but the stats are garbage. And you have to
Forcing
go.
that ugly piece of shit.
Yeah, you have to go with some ugly looking, and the damn suit looks disproportionate and weird. So, like aesthetically speaking, it doesn't look good. But I mean, you gotta go with the stats. But being able to upgrade the stats on the part, that'd be cool. That's something I feel like maybe people would like if they could add that.
Oh, yeah. I got one more thing, and that'd be flares. Defensive flares for incoming missiles.
Oh yeah, they used to have those.
Oh, that was the thing. Nice,
Yeah, they used to have like flares, but yeah, that would be kind of nice.
nice. I mean, there's
I mean, you could quick
you
boost
never
out
know.
of the way of most things, especially if you've got reverse
Right.
joints. But I
If you're
can
not fast
see,
enough, you gotta have flares.
yeah, I can
Exactly.
say that I would really like to have flares.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Wow.
one more thing I would like to add.
And the list gets
Um,
longer.
Right.
right. Uh,
He's gonna think of
BGM
five
from
more when we're done. By the way.
probably, yeah, but no. Music from previous games too. So the option to change music in battle, and the option to have like previous music from previous games.
You know what? I didn't really pay attention too much to the music in the game.
There were
Yeah.
it's
It
a lot
didn't
of very
stand out.
it's a lot of atmospheric music in this new game, but in previous games there was some actual pretty good tracks,
Ah,
especially some
okay.
of the boss tracks.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oof.
Yeah, it didn't really stand out to me. The music didn't really stand out to me in this game.
Yeah,
No,
Well,
that
I
all
think
the
what FromSoft did here is they took their idea of atmospheric music from from the Souls-like games and just kind of copy pasta into Armored Core 6. They're
Okay.
like,
yeah.
oh, the rest of our games have atmospheric music, and
Ace
then
Combat.
unless it's like a boss fight, yeah, and then unless it's a boss fight, then that's when the music changes. But it is still an atmospheric type of music, just done differently for the boss, and you get a lot of
Caesar,
that with Armored Core 6.
Caesar, what were we gonna
I mean,
say?
I was just saying like, and I'm spoiled. I like the Ace Combat soundtrack. The Ace Combat music is just really good, and I've got the OST
yeah.
for Armored Core 6, and
Mhm.
I want to like it, but I really don't care much for the
Yeah.
OST. It's not very good.
It didn't
Um,
stand
Mm-mm.
out. No, it didn't.
yeah,
I mean,
the music was really kind of bland. But another
the
thing,
theme, the theme for it is okay, but it just it didn't stand out like
yeah,
most
it
titles.
fits, but it's so ugh.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of
because
bland. Yeah.
Mhm.
atmospheric. I'm not a big fan of atmospheric music myself, which is why I never liked the Elden Ring music either, because it's just
Hmm.
atmospheric and it basically just sounds the same wherever you
You
go.
want some you want some DMC tunes, huh, Omar?
Yeah,
That and like
Well,
it's a freaking mech game. Put in some industrial metal, some freaking electronic music, some synth waves, something like that. Because
Uh-huh.
again, going back to previous Armored Core games, they had that kind of music in their games, and their boss music was just amazing.
can't
That
technomo.
yeah, like, that one rank D video that I uploaded for Armored Core. That first
Uh-huh.
track is called Mech Dinosaur. It's from the Armored Core 5 soundtrack, and it was a
Ah,
boss fight. It was a boss fight music. And
uh-huh.
the fucking thing that you were fighting was a mecha pterodactyl.
Nice.
It was
Ah,
fucking amazing, and it fucking screeched like a motherfucker, and it was scary. But it was the
nice.
one was one of the funnest boss fights I fought in that game. Otherwise, that game
Uh,
was pretty trash.
One thing I would add, and this is for more like the people who do streams, more specifically with like OSB, um, is when you tab out of the game, there's no option to keep the background music on or to keep the music or the sound on while the game is minimized. And I think that should really be added to the game because when you're using your OSB, you have to tab out to like start recording, or you might want to transition your scenes, but because the game doesn't play sounds while in background. As soon as you start doing that, and it cuts out all sound, and it's really obvious that you're not tabbed in the game, and it kind of like just breaks the whole like feel of the stream because now you're just going into, oh wait, we got technical difficulties kind of thing.
And this is for PC, right? Cease?
Yes, for PC and using
Mm-hmm.
the OSB uh,
Mm-hmm.
Studio.
The sound capture. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's not just sound capture, but it's also like video and all the other stuff.
Ah,
But
okay.
yeah, but like when you tab out, it all the sounds stop, all the sound shuts off. They have a beta setting that's supposed to keep capturing the game sound, but it doesn't work, or at least I couldn't get it to work. So
Ah,
the
okay.
only way I
Yeah, I
can
was gonna
capture
ask
your
that.
yeah, the only way I can capture game sounds is if it's playing through my speakers or through my selected output. So,
Interesting. And is it just with that game, or is it most PC games?
most PC games have an option that allows you to play sounds while in background, but
So it's just
they don't have an option for that in Armored Core 6, and I think they really need
interesting.
to.
Hmm.
But then again,
I wonder why.
they didn't really port a whole lot of games to PC.
How would you rate? That's actually something I wanted to ask you. How would you rate the port on this? Because I know, in almost half the time, a PC port from a game almost always sucks. If you look at Batman Arkham Asylum or Arkham City, or which one was it?
It was Arkham City.
Thank you,
It was
Matt.
Arkham City, but that was
Matt,
its own separate
that's
thing.
besides the point. That's besides the point. Like if you see PC ports, they almost always aren't that well because they get a third party and they kind of half-ass it. How would you rate the port on this game to the PC?
Honestly, like I think it's pretty good. Like I've seen a couple like Monster Hunter ish games that have had a had it like a handheld or a console version, and then they ported it to PC and it was ass. But
Mhm.
surprisingly, this one plays really well. Um,
Considering it's the first PC Armored Core game ever.
yeah, it
Wait,
is.
it is?
Yes, it is the first Armored Core PC
No
game.
way!
Yes,
Oh wow, look at that!
we've been begging for it for years, and
I
then
can't
they
believe they never put any of the other ones on PC.
now
That's
you had
crazy.
to emulate them, and emulating them even within the last like few years was kind of hard.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because I forget what program I had to use to get Armored Core 5 and 4 on the PC, but like it was always in development. There was always like glitches and bugs. Like you'd lose your save data, and it just wasn't reliable because they'd made it so hard to
Emulate.
yeah, to get the data on a PC so that you can run
Wow,
it.
that's crazy. But they did a good job with this one, right?
Yes, surprisingly, it's really good. I think just having experience with the Souls games and how they operate somewhat similarly in gameplay, kind of like made it easy for them to port this to PC and have it still like perform well.
Wow, that's actually pretty good. And is it locked at 60 or can you push it beyond that?
I think you can. I think you can go past it. It does have an option to lock it at 60, but I I usually do that. So I don't. But I'm not 100% sure. I might be conflating uh, my OBS settings with my Armored Core settings because I usually play with OBS on.
Ah, okay, just so kind of like so they can get an idea. What's your rig currently running at?
So right now I'm using a an ROG Strix gaming laptop. It's got a Ryzen
Oh, it's a
7000.
gaming laptop.
Yeah, it's got a Ryzen 7000, not
Okay, and
Ryzen
it's able to
9
run it well.
7000. Yeah, it does pretty good. I mean, I have a cooling pad that has like forced air that blows it in from the bottom, and
Yeah.
it dumps so much heat. This my laptop gets really hot when I'm playing games
Wow. Okay,
because
but the fact that it can run it, that's actually still pretty impressive. See, I
it's got
have.
a 40 70 or 4080 in it.
Okay.
So
See, that kind of makes me wonder if my laptop can run it because it's an older one. It's an Asus Tough. And I think it's a 1090 or 1080.
If you got a
10.
1080, it should
It's a
still run.
it's a 1060. A 1060 at 4 gig.
Might be pushing it.
Right? Yeah, I definitely couldn't run that at ultra settings.
Yeah, I know, definitely not ultra. But I mean, if you can probably go with like medium and then like cut out shadows or something like that,
Yeah, there you go. No
or
ray
post
tracing for that.
processing. Yeah.
Oh, but that makes me think like, okay, maybe I could run it. I mean, I've been wanting to upgrade my laptop for the longest, but that's good to know. That just probably broadens the audience of people who want to play the game on
Yeah,
PC.
it's definitely playable on a gaming laptop, but I mean, you do have to spend a little bit of money for that.
Yeah, most likely. Well, that's good to know. That's actually really good to know. I'm sure some listeners are probably hesitant to play it on PC because, like I said earlier, some ports from game console to PC just don't do it. But I'm glad to hear that From Software did a good job with this one.
Yeah, it feels really good.
What were you gonna say, Omar?
From
Oh, Matt, what were you
that
gonna
was me. I was gonna say that FromSoft, as my knowledge is concerned, anytime they have ever ported anything, they've never had any issue. And also, I kind of just think that's what it really comes down to, like your developers, because like you said, like with the whole Arkham game porting to PC, that was Rocksteady, and Rocksteady is not really on PC. Like,
say?
but like developers like Bethesda, FromSoft, who were where their games were on PC at one point in time, they could make ports like Skyrim, for example, or Fallout, port it to PC, and it's going to run pretty well, unless it's Fallout 76, which we don't talk
Mm.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good
That
to know, Caesar. That's actually really good to know, and I'm glad that they did a great job porting this, and I'm sure a lot of Armored Core fans who have wanted to play Armored Core on PC can now finally do that. Especially since you have the freedom of using the mouse as your crosshair, because I know people clamor about that, saying that it's the best way to play.
yeah,
Yeah.
the PC Master Race finally
Yeah.
get the win.
We always get the win. We just don't like to rub it in your face because we're higher class.
Yeah,
All right.
right. Rub it in your face every chance you get. Oh, we got a PC. We're better than you. Does your game work though?
All right,
Yes,
guys.
it
Let's go ahead and
does.
wrap it. Let's go ahead and wrap it up and kind of just like go over some
What's up?
things we hope to see in the future of this game, and especially in the future of this gaming franchise, because I think this is definitely going to revitalize it, and I really think we're going to see a lot more titles coming out for it. Hopefully, every other year, not every year, but every other year. Just to keep us,
Dude, it
Yeah,
took
I need
mega
one every quarter.
10
every
years
quarter.
to make. The last Armored Core game was released 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been way too
They
long.
gotta make Bloodborne 2 and Elden Ring 2 first, okay?
Jeez, man, why are you even on this episode? But yeah, let's
Why
go
are
over
you
some
Fuck
things.
here?
off.
Why we want to see some things we want to see in the game in the future? Like, what are some things you like just really hope they do with it, or some DLC that they add to it, or just some additional titles they add to it?
I mean, isn't that basically what we just did?
Right. All right. Well,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and just gush. Like, I know for a fact we all beat Balteus. What's one thing that finally clicked to you that gave you the ability to finally kick his ass?
Well,
Explosives.
Like,
for me was
these are just gonna say I'm just that good.
no, for me what it was like the part that I had the most issue fighting him was each time he did his multi-missile barrage, right? I would try to strife away from it, jump in the air, do all this crazy shit just to get away. And then what finally clicked was, what if I just get right on top of him or right underneath him? Because they banter out and then they chase you around the arena. And I'm like,
Matt, just because he's a robot doesn't mean consent.
Just because he can't say no doesn't mean consent.
that's
What,
exactly what it means. I did
what
not
about
hear a no. So, like, that was the way for me to beat him, is just charge right at him the second he launched all of his missiles at you, and then just be right next to him, because when they come out and they have a terrible time turning back in, even though they can track you.
Yeah, but I mean, missiles are kind of easy to avoid in this game. What about you, Omar? What's something that kind of clicked when you finally were? How many tries did it take you, by the way?
Too many.
Okay, you lost count. But
Yeah.
what's something that finally clicked on how? What did you actually, Matt? Go back. What did you finally beat him with, Matt?
Oh, I just use, what
Did you
did I
use my
use?
build? Did you use my build?
A little bit, yeah. I used some energy weapons, and yeah, I used the dual air to surface energy launchers.
The shoulder
The ones
ones, right?
that go, yeah, the shoulder ones that go vertical,
Hmm.
and I just kept using those, and to like just kept keeping the pressure on him, and then yeah, I just used an energy build, but a mid range one.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
because I would just I'll let him do the missile thing, charge him, take minimum damage from it, and then back off uh because he had this a move that pushed you back,
Hmm.
and then what else? That's pretty much it, and just kept a mid range and stay out of his striking distance, but stay close enough where I could strike it.
Right. What about you, Omar? What's the build that you were able to finally use to beat him? Omar? We lost him again.
Can you hear
R.I.P.
me?
Oh, there you go.
Now we
All right.
can.
God
So
damn
what's
this
the build?
stupid Discord.
I know.
All right,
What
so
what happened?
I use a medium build like always, biped. I used one of the plasma missile launchers for the back part, and then I used the 8 tube vertical missile launchers for the second back part. I used the laser rifle and the laser sword. Well, no, not the laser sword, the plasma sword. The first weapon that or the first sword that you get,
Hmm.
and I just alternated between all four of them because the plasma missiles would eat up its plasma shield, and
Hmm.
then the explosive missiles would eat up its freaking stun gauge. And after
Hmm.
that, I would just fucking fire it off with the laser rifle, and then once it was stunned, slice them up with the sword.
Nice.
Yeah, it took me way too many tries for that, but then I also retuned my AC so that it had better damage mitigation and increased the healing of
Yeah,
the
I
fucking
remember. I
retesting.
remember some of the chats we had. We were like, have you tried this? Did you try dumping points in this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wish I had known about the OS
OS
tuning,
tuning.
because I didn't
Well, how?
I didn't tune until like way later when I had like 80 something points.
God damn it, Caesar!
damn.
You like doing things the hard way, don't you?
I just don't realize how easy it could have been.
Right. What build did you use? What was the build you used to take down Balteus?
Um, so it was medium legs. Um, basically it's just dual bazookas in hand, and then dual songbirds in the back weapon part, and then just
Yeah, in
kind
the
of
back.
timing the reloads and making sure I'm
I
paying
hear you.
attention to the stagger gauge. That
Yeah, those
way,
songbirds definitely come in handy.
yeah, it's just once that stagger gauge comes up, and then just unload everything with direct hit
Exactly.
damage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean
Wreck
that's
is
how I
nice.
did. I just you stay up close and pop them with a lot of explosives. Ordnance is
Nice.
your friend.
Hell yeah. Hell
So
yeah.
that's the heavy arms.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Exactly.
Except
Nice.
no Gatling gun.
I know.
But now there is a Gatling gun.
Yeah, but it's so
It,
underwhelming.
it really is. I
It
feel like
is, but I, I like it. It goes well with the build I have.
I
I
just
have
you know.
wish it
more
had more
energy
ammo.
weapon.
Speaking of that, speaking
Indeed.
of speaking of kinetic weapons, one thing I think that would be kind of cool if they add is variations of ammunition. So, for instance, they can have ammunition that causes burn damage, or ammunition that just has stopping power that hits harder, or even explosive damage that does a little bit of a splash every time it hits.
Yeah, I think
Then you're
if they did that,
going
we'd be like on the road to tuning parts
RPGs.
and stuff.
I just think it would add a little more variation to it,
Oh no,
especially let's say
I
you
definitely agree.
let's
I'm
say
saying,
you want to use let's say you want to use a minigun. You slap some fire incendiary rounds on that, just burn the shit out of everything.
yeah. Then you got your thermal damage.
Exactly. Yeah.
There,
Well, they
they
did
had
have
that.
status. They did have statuses effects in this game, but they weren't like super noticeable,
They're just like procs essentially. It's kind of
right?
like
Like they
it's
didn't
like
really do anything to
frost
me.
proc in Elden Ring
Yeah.
or
What were you gonna
bleed
say, Omar?
proc.
They had something like that in previous AC games. It was kinetic, thermal, and chemical weapons,
Mm-hmm.
See, that would be cool. I mean,
and
there's
they
a
also
flamethrower in the game, but it's not. It's
yeah.
kind of lackluster.
So yeah, apparently all the things that you wanted, Ed, they had them in previous Armored Core games.
I might have to check out the previous ones then. Matt, how far are you in the game?
I don't know.
Have you beaten the Sea Spider yet?
No.
Okay.
Wait, which one's the sea spider?
The
If you
boss in
don't
chapter
know,
2.
if you have to ask, you didn't.
Yeah, you don't know. All right. Matt. I mean, Omar. How did you finally beat the Sea Spider? I know you struggled with that one too.
I didn't struggle with it as much as I did with Balteus, but
Alteas? Really? Wow, that's pretty good.
yeah, I ended up beating it after the patch though, because after the patch,
Ah.
yeah, it was a lot. It was not necessarily a lot easier, but I still kind of struggled. But I managed to fucking beat it with just basic weapons. The
Okay.
I used the what
Oh
you
yeah,
call
you
it?
did tell us that the basic missile pod.
Yep, two of them on my
Uh,
back shoulder. I used the basic rifle and just the Wolverine laser blade.
the Wolverine Laser's Blade. Yeah, I used that one against him too. That thing is actually pretty cool.
It is, especially its charge shot or its charge attack.
The four blade thing. That's actually pretty good, and it's
That
got a
fucking forms.
good amount of range.
It does. No, it's a
It's got
wide
a
ass fucking arc.
wide arc because it makes you spin what, like 3 times?
Yeah,
Twice.
something like that.
Three? Yeah, it does make you spin like 3 times. What about you, Caesar?
But
What did you use to beat his ass?
I used the whatchamacallit. I had a bazooka, or it was the detonating bazooka. It was like the javelin something or other. It's a
I know
really
what you're
heavy,
talking
like
about.
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, the
It's not
detonating
heavy,
bazooka.
but it has high impact damage, huh?
It's super heavy, but it's got a lot of impact and it's got
Yeah.
a really high direct hit modifier.
Yeah, it's the
Um,
440. It's the 44 141 Javelin Alpha. That's the one.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that
that one's
one, and
actually pretty
then the laser lance. God, that thing's so good.
good. I know,
It
right?
keeps you up in the air for so long too.
It
And
really does.
that, and then I was using just dual songbirds.
Of course.
I
Those
can't.
song,
Songbirds were just so good.
dude, they're just
I
so busted that like I think I finally stopped using them, and that's only because I unlocked the big missile launcher that launches 10 rounds, and then there's the crap, what is it? It's the 450-091 Javelin Beta that just launched like a missile that cuts across and then
Oh
it
yeah,
detonates a line. You know what I'm talking about, right?
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that one's pretty badass. And then the missile launcher, the BML G2, that one's pretty good. It only shoots 6, but they're linear, so they go straight. And they
Mm.
track really well against the enemies.
Yeah, I mean, I've retired the songbirds now. I'm spoiled with the earshots. They're the large um, grenade launchers for the back. I mean, you
Okay.
get one single shot, but the blast radius on it's so large, and
He shivered. He shivered as he said it.
my lower lip quivering.
Right.
But yeah, it's got a really large blast radius, so you're usually always hitting something, and it's really good for blowing out chaff or when you have to play missions where there's like waves of enemies that can be one shot, but you got to like chase them down while you're defending something. It's really good for those kinds of missions, but it also
Okay.
just packs a really big punch and a lot of impact. So it's just another way to get stagger on something, or to just wait for something to be staggered and then just wreck it.
That is good to know. Yeah, but definitely, definitely, definitely hit it out of the park with this one from software. Hopefully, they make more titles from here on. What are some
All they
final
do
thoughts?
is make good titles, Ed.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind if one ever sucks. But what's some final thoughts you guys like? What's something you would tell people like if they're just getting into the game?
Well, I would definitely tell people who like are familiar with FromSoft and they're sitting there like listening to the online chatter like how it's like a Souls like, or it's like yeah, just another Soulsborne type of game but with mechs. I would tell them don't
Ignore
listen to
it.
that. Is ignore it and enjoy the experience yourself and and don't try and play it like a Soulsborne game because it does not play like one whatsoever. And also, I would tell like if I would also be tell with someone's also like trying to get into like FromSoft. Let's say they are familiar with FromSoft like and they're like new to the genre or new to the company or whatever. I would say this is a great starting point for them because it's relatively easy and compared to everything else that they produce. It's like super easy in comparison.
Okay.
And so I think it'd be like a good way for like new blood to come in and experience from soft
Blood in,
Okay.
blood
without
out,
dying a
gay on
million
the
times.
way.
What about you, Omar? What's something you would tell newcomers to this game?
And
Uh,
you want some more? Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Okay, I was gonna say that if you think that the game is too short and you want some more, just expect an expansion game and maybe a few months to about a year, because FromSoft always does that. They always have release a numbered game, and but about a year later release an expansion game, which expands the story to the previous game. You could carry over your data and your information, and it has new parts, new missions, new story, new characters, and all that. So just
Oh,
expect one of those.
Yeah,
oh,
he's
I didn't know
referring
that.
Yeah.
to Armored Core 4, and then they had a 4 answer, and then they had 5, and then 5 verdict
Ver-
day.
yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. I
But
didn't know that was that.
those also Armored Core 3, and then those you could also carry that over to like Last Raven, Silent Line,
Mm.
all that you could carry over your data from the previous game over to the next game.
Good to
Or
know.
another
Until it
thing that
switches
they do,
systems.
yeah, or another thing that they do is they'll release a bunch of DLCs for it. Like they're still like let's see, this is Elden Ring's third, fourth DLC, and I know they plan on making more. Like
Matt,
Bloodborne got like a hefty four or five,
this
no,
is an
six.
Elden Ring episode, Matt. We'll do one later, okay? God.
We don't need to. I'm just saying, like, I'm adding on to what Omar said. Aside from them making another game, they make a bunch of DLCs for their
We're gonna.
Elden,
titles, for their main
Matt,
titles.
Elden Ring's only gotten one DLC, and that was the arena. The next DLC that's coming up is a really big major thing.
We're gonna have to do an Elden
I
Ring
thought they
episode.
had I thought they had three of them
I think you
already.
need to
No,
differentiate between DLC and expansions.
nothing.
Yeah. Well, DLC and expansions are two different things. DLC can be cosmetic or just small
Right.
things
It's
like
literally just
weapons.
downloadable content.
But
But when you're adding
expansion are like
content like
an
some
expansion would be like Red Dead Undying Nightmare. That was an expansion. Or
Like entire a new story mode essentially.
yeah, or what
yeah, and
basically
Right.
what Miles Morales should have been. It should have been an expansion to Spider-Man. Like that's what an expansion is. But what about you, Caesar? What's something you would tell newcomers to this game?
um the game's hard, but it's not that hard. Uh,
Mhm.
be adaptable. I I know a lot of people want to play the game with one specific type of like mech build, but an Armored Core game to its core is all about customizing your mech for different loadouts. And that's why they give you the option to change it when you have to restart a mission or start from a checkpoint, you can always just don't be so stuck on keeping one particular build. Try making multiple for different situations, because I mean that's really what it's all about. It's making different builds to overcome these missions. Now, there's always gonna.
Definitely.
I mean, there are some really overpowered builds like the double zimmies and
Yeah.
grenade launchers in the back with the wheelchair tank treads.
The Zimmermans are definitely the meta right now. Like people
Yeah,
on PvP
That and the
have voice.
that and the lightning bazooka thing for the
Oh
never
boss
yeah,
using
fight. That thing is
I'm never
too
using the
good.
shotguns.
yeah.
But yeah,
Other than
just
that, yeah, definitely check out the game. You know, it's available on all major consoles,
Except
PS4,
Switch.
5, except Switch. Yeah, but you never know, man. If they could port Mortal Kombat 1 to it, who knows?
yeah, but that was dog shit.
I know.
The Switch has
You
another
knew
half
that.
an
I
Hey,
know. I know.
DBZ Fighters was a pretty decent port for the Switch.
Yeah, but that's like a 2D fighter, dude. It's not super extensively heavy to run that thing. Doesn't look like it is. Um, but yeah, definitely check out the game. It's definitely fun. The replayability is there. For instance, you can replay missions to get S rank. Dude, the replayability is good, especially if you want to try out different builds.
If you're an achievement
Specific
hunter.
missions. Oh yeah, if you're an achievement hunter. The story, yeah, it leaves a lot to be desired, but again, that's how FromSoft does it, I guess. I'm not 100% sure. I've
Yeah,
only
the
played like
storytelling,
4
not the
different
story
titles.
itself. The story's actually kind of cool, but the
Like,
storytelling,
Oh,
the way
yeah,
they do
the
it is not.
story is actually really good if you read everything,
Yeah.
Or
but
you listen to everything.
or you listen to everything. I will say this, during certain fights, I do like some of the dialogue, like especially when Ares talking to you and she sounds like she's scared for you, or when Walter is actually giving you words of encouragement, which is interesting because he thinks of you as this thing, and he's like, "Get out of there, 621," or like, "You can't. You're the only one that could do it." You know, it's just weird the dynamic how it goes to as him treating you as an object to a person down the line, and spoiler alert, you kill him.
You didn't have to go and do that.
I kind of had to. I felt like I had to. But in any case, try out the game for yourself, experience it for yourself, and definitely, leave a comment below. Tell us what you think if you played it, if you're going to play it. Are you an old school Armored Core fan, or do you like this new way they're going about? Which I mean, to me, I don't know because I've never really played the other ones, but I love this one. So there's no reason why I probably shouldn't like the other ones. Other than that, I mean, yeah, just try it out. Play it for a day or two, see how you like it, and let us know what you think of it. So, with that being said, this is our first episode that we record on Discord. Hopefully, we can have Caesar back again for, I guess, Elden Ring expansion pack.
Mm.
Maybe that could be another episode we could do.
Guess got to get it on
Oh,
PC.
we're definitely doing that.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have more episodes. I promise. Now that things I have kind of settled down on my end, we'll be able to get together more often and record. Caesar will probably just join us on Discord because I don't think he's gonna want to fly it out every time we record. Or I mean, would you, Caesar? Would you want to?
I mean, I'll be there in November.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
we can probably
Cool.
get together then. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. So probably tune in for that. This is an episode I'm also gonna do a YouTube video for. I probably should have said that in the beginning, but I figure I'd do it now. Like, if you stuck to the podcast this long, you can check out the video on my YouTube channel. Again, also check out Caesar's unboxing for the premium edition of the game. It's really funny. He wears a side deck onesie, and he just like, basically, I'm doing this for you guys, and she shows the whole thing, and it looks really cool. Like the premium edition looks really cool. I wish I could have gotten it myself, but Caesar said he's gonna make copies of it for us, right, Caesar? You get a 3D
I
print
mean,
of
you
something?
gotta grease the wheels a little bit here, grease the gears.
Right? Parts don't come cheap.
Right.
I'll run a
Yeah.
couple. I'll run a couple missions and then send you the check.
There we go.
I'll farm that one mission where you take out the guy that just wanted a title.
Oh God,
You feel
poor
you
dude.
feel good about yourself there, Caesar. You feel good about killing that poor kid.
Always.
Spoiler alert.
that, that kid was gonna become Hitler. He had to die.
Hey, have them check out my YouTube for the gameplay footage that I have set up there.
Yes, Omar has been posting a lot of episodes, which is pretty cool turn of events. Usually it's me the one posting. I just haven't had the chance to. But he has
Same
been posting
here.
some of his matches. Well, not matches, but like his boss fights.
His
And
rating.
hell yeah, and he's definitely laying in the work, kicking ass while he does it.
Fucking looking
And as,
cool with that goddamn sword.
exactly. And as always, just remember to hit that like and subscribe. We do an episode every other Sunday now. So tune in for our next episode, and we will just talk to you all next time. Say goodbye.
Bye
Deuces.
bye.
Deuces.
What? Where am I again?